From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez says the Spanish cabinet will recognize a Palestinian state at its meeting this morning. This as a European Union rift with Israel widens over its ongoing war against Hamas militants in Gaza, and specifically on its southern city of Rafah. Ireland and Norway are also poised to make official their recognition of a Palestinian state later today. Sanchez says Spain will focus efforts on achieving a two-state solution.
The government of Spain will approve the official recognition of Palestine as a state.
Israel's foreign minister lashed out at Spain on X, saying Sanchez's government is being complicit in inciting genocide against Jews and war crimes. The University of Toronto is asking the courts to authorize police to remove protesters who are defying orders to leave a pro-Palestinian encampment set up on campus since earlier this month. The university has filed a notice of motion in court aimed at ending the demonstration. It says the encampment is causing irreparable harm to the institution. The protesters say they're prepared to fight back with their own legal team, and they keep ignoring yesterday's deadline to leave. Investigators from the University of Western Ontario's Northern Tornadoes Project will be in southwestern Quebec today, assessing a suspected tornado that touched down late yesterday afternoon west of Montreal. Environment Canada says a severe thunderstorm was passing through the Rigaud area at the time. Acting Fire Chief Guillaume Roy says 4 homes were damaged and a number of barns and grain silos were hit too.
The first house, the roof flew away with the garage, and after that, the 3 houses, one garage disappeared with all the chicken in it. We don't know where it went.
Numerous trees and power lines were down. A new report published today says 1 in 8 people who are pregnant in Ontario has a disability, but that many face barriers to accessible care and to doctors who understand their capabilities. Lead author Hilary Brown from the Institute for Clinical Evaluative Sciences says people with disabilities have been overlooked in reproductive health care because of societal assumptions that they won't have children. Some participants in the joint study with the University of Toronto Scarborough and the Centre for Addiction and Mental Health reported a lack of accessibility in doctors' offices for people with mobility issues. Prosecutors and defense lawyers in Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial are set to deliver closing arguments to the jury today. Former U.S. federal prosecutor David Weinstein says the prosecution will go back to the beginning of the trial as they wrap things up.
They're going to point back to those early days of the trial where they set up the evidence that they need to show that the defendant was guilty of orchestrating and managing the fraud that took place and the cover-up, not only in falsifying the records, but why the records were falsified.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Dallas Stars beat the Edmonton Oilers 5-3 in Game 3 of the Western Conference Final. Edmonton rushed out to an early 2-0 lead before the home crowd, but couldn't ride that momentum. Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch says his team took their foot off the pedal.
It was a complete reversal of the first period. I think they really were ready to come out hard and have a good push.
The Stars now lead the best-of-7 series 2-1. Game 4 goes Wednesday night, again in Edmonton. And in tennis, Rafael Nadal lost in the first round of the French Open to Alexander Zverev. The nearly 38-year-old Nadal is a 14-time champion at Roland Garros, but has been dealing with hip and abdominal injuries for a year and a half. Canada swept its matches Monday. Bianca Andreescu, Leylah Fernandez, Felix Auger-Aliassime, and Denis Shapovalov all posting comfortable first-round wins. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.